certification aspect, maybe everyone here knows what that is, but we also thought it'd be important just to explain that, because there's type certification that you're doing and we're helping with, but there's also the vendor and supplier collaboration aspect of this.
So type cert is the FAA oversight and approval of our airframe. Eventually landed on an approach that allowed us to innovate much quicker. If you want to commercialize,
Exactly.
It's got to be certified. If you want to sell it, it's got to be certified.
So this is the industry point of view, right? So we have the practical application of what you guys are setting out to do, but then this is what it looks like in reality for most people. You have a bunch of folks in an engineering building designing amazing next generation aircraft, and then it's time to share that with the FAA, with the shop floor, with manufacturing, everyone else. But they happen to be in the yellow building. What we're doing and how we're thinking about this in the industry is Anark software helps package all this up and bring it to a number of different use cases downstream, of which can be FAA type certification. It can be MIL standard compliant data packages for DoD purposes on customer delivery from prime contractors. It can be for supplier collaboration. It can be for a whole different set of use cases outside of just creating data packages. So there's things around digital thread connectivity between PLM systems and the haves in PLM and the have-nots in the yellow building, everyone else, right? So we're all about bringing that information, bringing that technical data and collaborative discussions together into one place.
Going to a model-based approach with an automated processing solution allowed us to innovate faster, reduce cycle time, but it didn't come easy. There was a whole lot of negotiation back and forth with the FAA on what is a conforming data package. How do we present it? The same TDP, technical data package, supports both CERT and supply chain, which simplifies the workflows for us. It's definitely not easy.
This is the it's not easy slide. There's probably more than 4 things, and I'm sure everybody in this room who works on these types of challenges have a list similar to this of challenges that you face.
3DX data translation to the downstream workflow has been definitely a challenge for us. By using the TDP approach, a standardized document that's familiar to all the different work groups within Beta. We're in the midst of getting all our parts certified at the part assembly, subassembly, and install level. From early days in the program, and innovation was running rampant, we quickly realized that we have to standardize, and the only way to automate these things is through a standard model philosophy and standardized workflow to be successful. We are creating drawings only for the top level collectors, but everything from part level up to large installs is 3D TDP. So they have PDF with a step 242 edition 2 as the standard work package. All composite deliverables are processed in this manner. Whether it is a monolithic layup, panel, sandwich structure, or bonded panel subassembly, it's all processed in this workflow. From a, innovation standpoint, we started with small parts and worked our way up to larger assemblies, complex parts. We managed to automate these workflows that allow us to process in an efficient manner. So the deliverable for us is a 3D TDP with a step 242 that contains all that information. I guess the deal with the FAA was they wanted to see, call it a paper copy. Something that looks like a legacy drawing, which is created with views and captures and processed using Anark, which then magically creates a very unique data package.
If you had just rough ideas around how much effort could be lost based on your work history other things you've done in terms of drawings and how much time that can sink away?
Yeah, certainly from the more complex structural parts, it's estimated somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50% time savings. It's a business priority. So the initial FAA discussions were with an audience that was mixed in age, let's say, and mixed in experience. The old, knowledgeable folks really forced drawings, but for beta, drawings were an option. So the 3D TDP allowed us to essentially provide a drawing, but not have the drawing effort. A good designer wants to design. They don't want to create drawings.
This is now bringing it back all the way around to hearing from what you've been doing in beta, but then mapping that into what's happening more broadly. So just a quick rundown on the top, right? Build packages for the shop floor, design packages to suppliers, contract deliverables to customers, compliance deliverables to agencies like the FAA that we're talking about here today. Those are all fair game and can drive significant value within organizations when you start to scale up past the 15-minute per part value and get into the hours of savings per part or assembly value. And then down along the bottom, in working with our customers and working with partners in the industry, we refer to these as the non-negotiables. If you can't do all four of these things, you're going to be a little bit behind the value curve in terms of what you expect to get out of the solution that you're going with. If you can get all four of these things, then you're really on that path to real value that gets the stakeholder buy-in from the early slide that Stefan described and gets your internal teams and your external teams working more efficiently together. So, normalizing the data so that it's in a format that everybody can use, that gets towards exactly the conversations that you had with the FAA, which is, we need this to be readily consumable. And if we're going to go with this technology instead of drawings, we need to know that it's going to just work for us. And so having standard visuals and standard normalized data that everyone can consume consistently is part of that. Reusable recipes and templates is just the scale factor. You have to be able to standardize the process, which then sets you up for automation. And maybe you can talk a little bit more about the importance of automation.
First, you got to figure out the process. Once those workflows are standardized, that's when you automate. With recipes and templates, it all just flows. Gets to the right people at the right time. It's pushed in an automated workflow. Just in terms of automation, the scale factor, one of the companies that we work with publishes over 600,000 technical data packages a year because they have lots of parts, lots of variety, and they have to just keep this moving. And so now you start to take that 15 minutes, 5 hours, somewhere in between, and multiply that at scale for that type of scale, and you see significant benefits out of this. Beta is a startup. It's a very young company and has a very young workforce. And what we're seeing is it's easier for them to work with 3D content than a legacy drawing. So as Beta grows and expands its workforce, that is something we'd like to leverage. Key takeaways, back to the what is type certification and what are you setting out to do? It's required. It's how the company commercializes, it's how the company goes to market. And if you want to sell aircraft, you have to certify. And so it's core to what the business does and how it operates. And then in terms of how it's done, you said this yesterday, I love this. Maybe you could just speak more to what that means to you around just go do it. Well, that's just it. You can theorize and come up with all kinds of different workflows and scenarios and systems, but really what we learned here is just go do it. Our initial discussions with the FAA were not easy, but as they saw results and saw the content, those conversations matured and they adopted our approach. So bottom line is just go do it. Start small and scale up. Yep. Love it. Great. That is all the primary content that we wanted to go through today. We would love to talk to any of you more about what we're doing with Beta. And thanks a ton for being up here with me and doing the hard stuff today, Stefan. You're very welcome.